I sat in the living room of our small one-bedroom apartment, staring at the woman across from me. Patricia, my mother-in-law, had that same smug smile I had seen for the past 12 months. Next to her sat a man in a dark suit, clutching a leather briefcase like it held the secrets to the universe. The air felt heavy, thick with tension. I had endured a year of being looked down on, treated like I was worthless, like I brought nothing to the table. But today, everything was going to change. Today, they would see who I really was. Before we dive into how I let an entire family underestimate me for a year, let me know where you are watching from in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe, because what happened next will show you why sometimes staying silent is the most powerful move you can make. It all started 2 years ago in a small coffee shop on the east side of Portland. I was sitting by the window, going through some property reports on my laptop when she walked in. Emma. She had this warm energy about her, the kind that makes you look up from whatever you are doing. She ordered a latte, smiled at the barista, and somehow we ended up talking when she asked if the seat next to me was taken. Emma worked in marketing for a local firm. She talked about her campaigns, her love for creative work, and how she wanted to make a difference in whatever she did. I found myself drawn to her honesty, her genuine nature. She did not care about status or money. She cared about connection, about real conversation. That was rare in my world. By that point in my life, I was 32 years old and owned 3 commercial buildings in downtown Portland. My real estate portfolio was worth just over $8 million. I had inherited a substantial amount when my father passed away 7 years earlier. He had been a successful developer, a man who built his empire from nothing. When he died suddenly from a heart attack at 58, everything came to me. I was 25, and overnight became wealthier than I ever imagined. But money changed things. It changed how people saw me, how they acted around me. I watched friends become different, more interested in what I could do for them than who I was. Women I dated suddenly cared more about my portfolio than my personality. So I made a decision. I would live simply. I drove a 10-year-old sedan. I wore regular clothes from department stores. I rented a modest apartment even though I owned the building. And I told people I was a real estate consultant working independently. It was not a lie, just not the whole truth. When Emma and I started dating, I kept that story. I told her I did consulting work, that I helped people with property investments, and that I made a decent living. She never pushed for details. She seemed happy just being with me, talking about movies, cooking dinner together, taking walks through the city. 6 months in, I asked her to marry me. She said yes without hesitation. We got married at the courthouse with just a few close friends present. It was simple, intimate, exactly what I wanted. After the wedding, Emma insisted I meet her family properly. We had met briefly before, but she wanted a real dinner, a chance for everyone to get to know each other. I agreed, though I felt uneasy about it. The dinner was at her family home in the suburbs. It was a large 3-story house with a manicured lawn and expensive cars in the driveway. Patricia, Emma's mother, ran a successful chain of hair salons across the city. Her father, Harold, had retired from a career in construction. Emma's older brother, Trevor, worked for a financial firm downtown and never missed an opportunity to mention it. From the moment I walked in, the atmosphere felt cold. Patricia looked me up and down, her eyes lingering on my plain shirt and worn shoes. Harold shook my hand with a grip that felt more like a test than a greeting. Trevor smirked as he asked what I did for work. When I explained I was an independent real estate consultant, Patricia's face tightened. She exchanged a look with Harold. "So, you are a freelancer?" she asked, her tone dripping with judgment. "Do you have benefits? Health insurance? A retirement plan?" I answered calmly that I managed my own finances and was doing well. Trevor laughed. Freelancing is tough these days, man. Hope it works out for you. Emma jumped in, defending me. He does very well. He is great at what he does. Patricia smiled tightly. Of course, dear. I just worry about stability. Marriage requires financial security. The rest of the dinner continued in that vein. Every question felt like an interrogation. Every answer I gave seemed to disappoint them further. By the time we left, I could feel Emma's discomfort. She apologized in the car, but I told her it was fine. Families could be protective. I understood. After we married, Emma and I moved into a one-bedroom apartment downtown. She thought we were renting it. In reality, I owned the entire building. It was one of my smaller properties, and I had kept a unit for myself years ago. But I told Emma we were tenants, just another way to maintain the illusion. The apartment was cozy. It had everything we needed. A decent kitchen, a comfortable bedroom, a small balcony overlooking the street. Emma seemed happy at first. But then Patricia started visiting. She came by at least twice a week, always unannounced. Each time she made comments. This place is so small. The furniture looks old. You do not even have a dishwasher. Emma would laugh it off, but I could see it bothered her. Patricia would suggest Emma move back home, that there was plenty of space, that it would be easier. Emma always refused, but the seed of doubt had been planted. I noticed Emma becoming quieter, more distant. She started spending more time with her family, less time at home. I wanted to tell her the truth, to show her that we were fine, that we had more than enough. But I held back. I needed to know if she loved me for who I was and what I had. 3 months into our marriage, things got worse. Patricia started asking Emma pointed questions about our finances. How much does Jameson contribute to rent? I heard you are still paying most of it. The truth was, I paid for everything. Emma contributed what she wanted, but I covered rent, utilities, groceries. I never made a big deal about it. But Emma, wanting to seem independent, never clarified this to her mother. So Patricia assumed I was freeloading, living off her daughter. The phone calls started. Patricia would call Emma every day, filling her head with doubts. You need someone more responsible. A man should provide stability. Harold added his voice. When I was his age, I already owned a home. What is he waiting for? Trevor was the worst. He sent Emma messages calling me a failure, a burden. He posted jokes on social media about freeloaders. Emma defended me at first, but I could see her resolve weakening. Patricia insisted we come to family dinners every week. I dreaded them, but I went for Emma's sake. Each dinner was a new humiliation. One night, Patricia cooked expensive steaks for everyone. When she handed me my plate, it was fried chicken from the supermarket deli. We have to be mindful of budgets, she announced loudly. Not everyone can afford luxury. Another time, during Emma's birthday party, Patricia invited dozens of people, including wealthy colleagues of Trevor. When she introduced me, she said, "This is Emma's husband. He works independently." Then she left me standing alone in the corner while everyone mingled. No one spoke to me. I was invisible. Thanksgiving was the worst. Patricia spent the entire meal comparing me to Trevor's friend Brad, who had just bought a $600,000 house. Now that is ambition, she said, staring directly at me. Some people are content with mediocrity. The attacks were constant, relentless, and Emma was changing. She started questioning me. Do you have any plans for the future? Have you thought about buying a house? Why do you not look for something more stable? I gave vague answers, still protecting my secret. But each question hurt more than the last. Emma was pulling away. She spent more nights at her parents' house claiming they needed help with things. We argued more, small fights about nothing that were really about everything. One night she broke down crying. "I do not know if I made the right choice," she said. I asked her what she meant. She could not answer, or would not. Then Patricia took it even further. She started asking me to do work for her. "Since you are family, you can help me with a few things around the house." I agreed, because I thought it would help Emma. But the requests kept growing. Paint the guest room, fix the fence, clean out the garage. These were not small favors. They were full days of labor. And Harold would sit in a lawn chair watching me work, barking orders. "That spot needs more paint. The color is uneven." Trevor thought it was hilarious. He took pictures of me covered in paint and posted them online. "Brother-in-law putting in work, haha," the caption read. I endured it all silently. But what hurt most was that Emma never stood up for me. She would thank me afterward, kiss my cheek, but she never told her family to stop. She never said I deserved better. I began to wonder if I had made a mistake. Not about Emma, but about hiding who I was. Maybe honesty from the start would have prevented this. But it was too late now. I was in too deep. Then one afternoon, everything came to a head. Patricia had stopped by the apartment while I was out running errands. Emma let her in. I found out later that Patricia had been snooping, looking through our things. She claimed she was just tidying up, but I knew better. On the desk in our bedroom, there was an envelope from my attorney's office. Inside were documents related to a property I was selling, a house in the West Side neighborhood worth about $450,000. My name was all over the paperwork. Patricia saw it, and her mind started racing. She did not understand the full picture. She thought maybe I had one property, perhaps an inheritance I had kept secret. In her mind, this was proof I was hiding assets from Emma. Or worse, that I was planning to leave and take everything with me. But Patricia did not see this as a reason to back off. She saw opportunity. If I had money, even just one property, she could manipulate the situation. She could pressure me into signing it over to Emma, or she could convince Emma to divorce me and take half. Either way, Patricia would have control. She contacted a notary. She knew a man named Bernard, who had done work for her salons before. She explained the situation her way. "My son-in-law has been hiding assets. I need to protect my daughter. Can you help me prepare transfer documents?" Bernard, eager to please a long-time client, agreed. Patricia then went to Emma with her discovery. "Your husband has been lying to you. He owns property and never told you. He is not trustworthy. You need to either secure your rights or leave him." Emma was confused, hurt, overwhelmed. Patricia kept pushing. "Trust me. I am your mother. I only want what is best for you." A few days later, Patricia called and said she was coming over. It was a Saturday afternoon. Both Emma and I were home. When the door opened, Patricia walked in with Bernard beside her. He carried a leather briefcase and wore a stiff expression. Emma looked surprised. I remained calm. I had been expecting something like this. Patricia wasted no time. "We need to have a serious conversation," she announced, sitting down on our couch like she owned the place. Bernard opened his briefcase and pulled out papers. I glanced at Emma. She looked terrified, uncertain. "Jameson." Patricia began, her voice laced with false concern. "I know about the house on West Side. You have been hiding it from Emma. That is dishonest." Emma turned to me, eyes wide. "You own a house. Why did you not tell me?" I stayed silent. I wanted to see how far Patricia would go. Patricia continued. Now you have two options. One, you transfer that property into Emma's name to ensure her financial security. Two, we proceed with the divorce, and Emma gets her fair share. She pushed the papers toward me. Sign here. Transfer the house to Emma. It is the right thing to do. Bernard nodded, trying to look official. In a marriage, assets should be shared. This protects both parties. I looked at the papers, then at Bernard. You are a notary, not a divorce attorney, correct? Bernard hesitated. I am here to notarize signatures. Patricia snapped. Just sign it, Jameson. Do not make this harder than it needs to be. Emma was shaking. Mom, please stop. Patricia turned on her. Be quiet. I am protecting you. He lied to you for a year. I stood up slowly. The room went silent. I looked at Patricia, my voice calm but cold. I have been waiting for this moment, waiting to see how far you would go, waiting for Emma to see who you really are. Patricia laughed bitterly. What are you talking about? You have nothing except that one house. Stop acting like you are something special. I pulled out my phone and made a call. David, are you ready to come in? The door opened. A man in a tailored gray suit stepped inside carrying an expensive leather briefcase. He was in his 50s with sharp eyes and an air of authority. This is David Morrison, I said. He is my real estate attorney. He also manages my entire property portfolio. Patricia and Bernard froze. Emma stared at me, her mouth open. David set his briefcase on the table and opened it. He pulled out a thick stack of documents. Good afternoon, everyone. I represent Jameson Parker in the management of his assets, which currently total $8,200,000. The room went dead silent. David continued. Jameson owns 3 commercial buildings in downtown Portland, a diversified investment portfolio, and 12 residential rental properties. The house on West Side that Patricia mentioned is just one of those 12. Patricia's face went pale. That is impossible. David handed her a document. Here is the official portfolio summary, notarized and verified. Jameson also owns this building we are sitting in right now. All 6 floors. Emma whispered, You own this building. I nodded, turning to her. You asked why I did not tell you. Because I needed to know you loved me, not my money. My father was wealthy. He died when I was 25 and left me everything. I have seen what money does to people. I have seen relationships fall apart because of greed. I wanted something real. Emma started crying. But I do love you. Do you? I asked quietly. You let your family treat me like garbage for a year. You questioned me, doubted me, pulled away from me. All because they convinced you I was not good enough. Patricia stood up, her voice shaking. You lied to us. You let us think you were poor. I turned to her, my voice sharp. I never lied. I just did not brag. I lived modestly because that is who I am. But you and your family treated me like dirt because you thought I had nothing. You measured my worth by my bank account. You tried to humiliate me, use me, and now you brought a notary here to steal from me. David addressed Bernard directly. You are aware that attempting to coerce someone into transferring property under false pretenses is fraud, correct? You could lose your license for this. Bernard grabbed his papers, his face red. I did not know. Patricia said it was legitimate. I am leaving. He rushed out the door. Patricia tried to recover. Emma is still your wife. She has legal rights. David smiled. Actually, they signed a prenuptial agreement before the wedding. I prepared it myself. Any assets Jameson owned prior to marriage remain his sole property. Emma signed it willingly. I looked at Emma. You did sign it, remember? You said you did not care about money, that you just wanted to be with me. Emma covered her face with her hands, sobbing. Patricia was furious. This is a trap. You planned this. No, I said. I hoped it would not come to this. I hoped your family would accept me for who I am, not what I have. I hoped Emma would stand by me. But you made your choices. You showed me exactly who you are. I turned back to Emma. You have a choice now. You can stay with me and we build a real marriage based on trust and love. But if you stay, we cut ties with your family. No more Patricia controlling our lives. No more disrespect. Emma looked at her mother, then at me. Tears streamed down her face. Patricia stood pointing at me. You cannot do this. Emma, do not listen to him. But Emma shook her head. No, Mom. You ruined this. You pushed and never trusted me to make my own decisions. You treated Jameson horribly because you are obsessed with status and money. I was protecting you, Patricia insisted. You were controlling me. Emma shot back. I am done. Patricia and Harold left in silence, their faces twisted with shame and anger. Trevor tried calling later to apologize, but I blocked his number. Harold sent a letter weeks later, but I never responded. The months that followed were not easy. Emma and I had to rebuild trust from the ground up. I showed her everything. My properties, my investments, the life I had been living quietly for years. We moved into one of my nicer homes, a 4-bedroom house with a view of the river. Emma apologized constantly. She understood now why I had kept my wealth hidden, but she also realized she had failed me when I needed her most. She promised never to let anyone come between us again. She started therapy to work through the guilt and the years of manipulation from her mother. We cut contact with Patricia completely. She tried reaching out several times, sending messages through mutual friends, even showing up at the house once. I had security escort her off the property. Harold sent a long apology letter acknowledging his mistakes. I read it, but never replied. Some bridges once burned cannot be rebuilt. Trevor posted a public apology on social media, but it felt hollow. He was more concerned with how the situation made him look than with actual remorse. As for Emma and me, we grew stronger. The experience taught us both valuable lessons. I learned that hiding the truth, even with good intentions, can cause damage. Honesty is not just about avoiding lies. It is about being open, vulnerable, and trusting the people you love. Emma learned that family loyalty does not mean blind obedience. It means standing up for what is right even when it is hard. It means protecting the person you chose to spend your life with, not appeasing the people who raised you. We also learned about boundaries. Toxic people will always find ways to justify their behavior. Patricia genuinely believed she was protecting Emma. But protection born from control and judgment is not love. It is manipulation. I do not hate Patricia. I pity her. She lives in a world where worth is measured by possessions, where people are valued based on their bank accounts. That is a sad, empty way to live. She lost her daughter because she could not see past her own prejudices. Now Emma and I sit on the deck of our home watching the sun set over the water. We talk about the future, about building something meaningful together. We have started a foundation to help young people from low-income backgrounds get into real estate. We want to give others the opportunities I was lucky enough to have. Emma asked me once if I regret how everything happened. I told her no. The pain, the humiliation, the year of suffering, it all served a purpose. It showed me who truly cared about me and who did not. It revealed the strength I had to endure, and it gave Emma a chance to choose me again, this time with full knowledge of who I am. The notary never came back. Patricia never called again. And I learned that sometimes the best revenge is simply proving that you never needed their approval in the first place. So have you ever been underestimated by people who thought they knew your worth? Drop your story in the comments below. I would love to hear how you handled it. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to the channel for more true stories about resilience, justice, and standing your ground. Thank you for listening, and remember, your value is not determined by what others think of you. Stay strong, stay true, and never let anyone make you feel small.